Edwin Poots has rejected a proposal for a Swiss-style deal to overcome trade barriers and checks between Britain and Northern Ireland. Mr. Poots described the proposal by a senior EU official as a temporary solution, a position that drew criticism from other politicians. While the DUP leader, who is reported to be considering proposing his Lagan Valley colleague Paul Given as First Minister, wants unfettered trade with Britain, he believes there can be checks on goods destined to cross the border into the EU. Under deals reaching back nearly 50 years, the EU and the Swiss have agreed on a series of measures to keep border checks to a minimum, including on food and live animals. However, the two sides were negotiating updates to various treating, but it didn't work out that much. But they will continue, I'm sure. The Swiss Federal Council called an end to the present talks with Brussels last week. On the potential for a Swiss-style deal put forward by European Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič, Mr. Poots said, "That struck me as a temporary solution. I want permanent solutions to take the barriers away between Great Britain and Northern Ireland and provide security in terms of the single market, that goods entering the European Union from Great Britain have the appropriate checks." Yeah. And where's your solution? The DUP leader was speaking on the BBC's Andrew Marr show along with Mr. Šefčovič. The party did not immediately respond last night to reports that Mr. Given will be named as candidate for First Minister. As the LP leader Colm Eastwood said, the European Commission is now publicly offering the sensible solution of a veterinary agreement similar to the deal which already operates between EU countries and Switzerland. Mr. Poots' appearance follows a week that saw him officially pronounced leader of the party at an event where senior members left prior to him delivering his victory speech. It was also reported that members of the campaign team of Lagan Valley MP Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, defeated in his bid for the leadership, received threats from the UDA. On the protocol, Mr. Poots said the EU is still in tunnel vision. The reality is they are playing fast and loose with the peace in Northern Ireland. The only one who's away from reality is Poots. Asked what he would want to see instead of the protocol, Mr. Poots said, "We do not need to have barriers to food that's consumed in Northern Ireland, to medicines that are being used in Northern Ireland to protect the single market. Barriers that are being placed contrary to the Belfast Agreement need to be removed, and we can provide checks between Northern Ireland or between Great Britain and the European Union in Northern Ireland. It doesn't have to be at the border. It can be at another location in Northern Ireland, including the ports." He also said, "I don't want to use a threat of violence in terms of this." Mr. Šefčovič argued the protocol will bring economic opportunities here as people can operate in both the EU and Great Britain. He suggested the temporary Swiss-style vet deal as a solution, where the UK continues to follow all EU agri-food rules. The deal would remove 80% of Britain-Northern Ireland checks, he added. Deputy First Minister Michelle O'Neill said the DUP need to be honest with people over Brexit. Any difficulties being faced by businesses or traders are direct results of the Brexit the DUP campaigned for and now must take responsibility for, Mrs. O'Neill added, and I totally agree. And she said, "The protocol, while imperfect, must be implemented and no credible alternative exists which protects the Good Friday Agreement, all Ireland economy and prevents a hard border on the island." And she's right again. Mr. Eastwood said, "We know this Swiss-style deal would automatically remove 80% of the protocol checks overnight. This is exactly the solution the SDLP has been calling on for months." This morning, Edwin Poots described a sensible solution as only offering a temporary fix, but as usual, the facts result in his arguments and they are just falling apart. The current EU-Swiss deal has been operating since January 2009, 12 years ago. This offer on the protocol is the first key test for the new DUP leadership. Edwin Poots has a choice. He can either work with us on a sensible solution, or he can continue down the path of division, threats and political dead ends, he said. TUV leader Jim Allister took air at Mr. Poots for prioritizing the retention of Stormont even above destroying the union dismantling protocol. He said, "It is as humiliating to watch as it is confirming of the one-way process with which this Stormont has become. What a pitiful place to which the DUP and their division has brought us." And I really have to emphasize that again. First of all, obviously in the leadership of the DUP, there is no more reality than there was before under Arlene Foster. And Mr. Poots has to find some path to reality. Because, I'm too polite to say the words I have for what he's saying. The EU is making a reasonable offer. I talked about that offer 2 weeks ago already, because they were talking about that, and the British government already rejected it once. And now they're talking about the same regulations the EU still has with Switzerland. The negotiations that have stopped now are for a full package with more stuff than we have right now. But all the bilateral deals, the hundreds they have with Switzerland, still apply. But DUP and reality, that seems to be something that doesn't go together. But there has to be a solution, and that protocol has to be implemented. It is international law. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.